Hello, guys. I am back from a 2-week vacation in Florida with my grandbabies, and I'm feeling refreshed and energized and peaceful and happy, and most of all, so blessed, just so incredibly blessed. And that is the inspiration for today's topic, which is faith. We're talking faith today. I think so many people like myself are coming into their faith. There is truly a revival happening across the country, around the world. Really. And this is such an incredibly I'm getting emotional. I tried to get myself to not be emotional, and I can't not be emotional talking about this. And I have to be honest, it baffles me. It confuses me. I had paused for a second. It baffles me, it confuses me, it overwhelms me in a great way, in a wonderful way. Talking about faith and God and Jesus and all of these things. I wasn't raised in the church. I this was not who I ever was or knew that I was, I guess. I mean, most of my life talking about God and talking about religion in general made me deeply uncomfortable. Funny enough, it's always been on my mind. It is something I've always explored in small ways, just different things, just trying to figure out what I believe, what I think, what resonates with me. And the one consistent thing throughout my entire life is that I get so emotional. Tears. I mean, I can't even stop myself. I don't know what this is. I don't know why it happens, but I am overcome with emotion every single time I talk about or think about God and His grace and the blessings in my life. I think if I had to put it into what I can really wrap my brain around here, it's just such intense gratitude for my life. And to be honest with you, there's nothing crazy going on here. There's nothing, amazing, unusual, spectacular. We didn't win the lottery. If that's how you measure things. I mean, it's not that. We live a pretty average, regular life. To me, that's wonderful and perfect. So I don't know. I guess that's what it is. I'm pulling it together, guys. I am pulling it together here. Okay. At least for the moment. So yes, really, I guess, I mean, it's been a long time, but over truly the past year, I have been really letting my guard down and embracing my faith and just owning it. And not being afraid of it and not being embarrassed by it. And I don't know why I have been in the past embarrassed by the amount of faith that I have. Maybe, I guess for me, part of it is that again, I wasn't raised religious. I wasn't raised in the church. We didn't go to church. We didn't really talk about God. we didn't talk about any of these things. We celebrated, celebrate still, of course, but we celebrated Christmas, we celebrated Easter, but for my family, those were just holidays to get together and enjoy um, and be together. Like we didn't do any of the religious aspects of it. We didn't go to, you know, mass and we well actually, oh gosh, we did my uncle, who out of all of us has, tried to lean into his faith more at different times in his life. And there was a period of time where he was going to church and wanted us to go with him, specifically for midnight mass at Christmas time, on Christmas, not Christmas time, on Christmas. See how little I know, guys. Um, so we all agreed, and I was a kid then, so I just did whatever the adults said to do, really, basically. And boy, oh boy, I mean, we're just, we're just such jackasses, honestly, my family. We're just ridiculous. We don't really know how to be mature. I think when we get uncomfortable or embarrassed or uncertain, our default is to laugh. Like we're laughers. We laugh really hard, inappropriately, more often than not. And so that's what happened. We went to midnight mass. I specifically remember like two times that we went. Both times we lost it for stupid reasons, mainly because we were so immature and we didn't know what to do with everything that was happening around us. I grew up mostly, so as you know, or maybe you don't because you never watched me before. I don't know. But I'm German and Cuban, like split right down the middle. My mom and the whole maternal side is from Germany, and my dad and that whole side are from Cuba. And I I spent the majority of my time growing up with the German side, because the Cuban side went to Florida, and I know cliche, right? Yes, Miami, yes, but also West Palm Beach, so whatever. So I spent a lot of time with the German side who stayed here in Connecticut where I am. So if you ever met a German, and I'm being stereotypical here, I'm stereotyping us, but we're not good with emotions, with feelings. Like we're really good with hard feelings, like getting angry and things like that. But sensitivity, gentleness isn't a strong suit, at least not in my family. I mean, I won't speak, I'll be appropriate here and not speak for all Germans, because of course, there are plenty of warm, fuzzy, affectionate Germans out there, right? We were not. I am not. It's not my way. With my grandbabies, it is, with my husband, my kids, I can be, but my general personality is kind of hard. It's kind of like, everything is black and white, and toughen up and suck it up and be brave, be tough, be strong, don't cry, all of those things. As I say that, as I just bawled my face off like 2 minutes ago, right? I don't know. I'm going to chalk it up to getting older, getting softer here. But yeah, so our default when we don't know how to deal with the softer emotions like love and joy and kindness and compassion and all those things, like is to laugh. So that's what we did. I mean, long story long, that's what we did. We were in the church, and I don't know. Well, so it kind of seemed like the priest was paying. It was a Catholic church. Priest was paying an especially large amount of attention to my mom at the time. So I'm not saying that the priest was flirting with my mom. I'm not saying that. That feels probably like blasphemous or something. I'm not saying that. But he just paid a lot of attention to her, which made us all giggle uncontrollably. And we didn't know how to act. My uncle was very mad at us. He was furious with us because we're not pretty laughers. We laugh ugly. We cry ugly and we laugh ugly. You saw the crying a minute ago. My face gets all red. My eyes get all puffy. My nose gets red. The whole works. And, we laugh the same way that we cry. Which is awful. It's always been a huge embarrassment for me growing up, because when I laugh hard, I'm like tears pouring kind of person. So yeah, so it's super embarrassing. So it didn't stop me. I mean, it still doesn't stop me. I still laugh my idiot head off all the time. But the people around me just know it and they accept it and they deal with it. Like it's just the way it is. Um, so yeah, so we're ugly crying. I mean, ugly, I'm sorry, ugly laughing in the church with all these people being like solemn and serene and reverent. And you're in this big, beautiful church and it's quiet except for the organ music. And so we're in this, big Catholic church and with the stained glass and the ornate everything and the somber, solemn music playing, the organ, all the candles, and everybody's being so appropriate and right and good. And here are, I think there was probably about five of us, maybe, including or five of us plus my uncle. And here's us idiots, cry laughing, hard, snorting. Yeah, so bad. So, so generally I have stayed out of churches my whole life because I don't know how to act right. Simply is what it is. And yes, I do have the sense to be embarrassed by that and acknowledge that I am 51 years old and I still can't act right. But that's part of the reason why I have not been really in the church, and the other part of that is I've never been comfortable in the Catholic Church. I think as I've been doing my learning and exploring of my faith and what I believe in and what where I belong, what kind of church. This has been a huge struggle for me because I don't know where I belong. So I think I might have narrowed it down. And please, 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 please offer your suggestions. My Christian friends here listening, watching, please tell me where you go, what brings you there, what draws you there, what keeps you there, what speaks to you, because I'm still learning. This is all very new to me. But I think what I understand of myself and what I watch and what resonates with me, I'm thinking non-denominational. Like I feel so silly telling you these things because I just know that I don't really fully know what I'm talking about here. I like evangelical. I love the so okay, so here's the thing. The first one that I really listened to was Joel Osteen. And I know there's some very mixed feelings about him. I saw it on the Twitter. I saw what everybody was saying. I understand all that. So I just recently spoke to somebody who has a better understanding of these things than I do because they were raised in the church and they are, regular churchgoers and understand the Bible and have read the Bible and read the Bible and all those things. So she didn't really have a huge issue with Joel Osteen and the amount of money that he and others like him make doing what they do. Her only problem, as she explained it to me, was that he uses or shares very, very little scripture. So he's more of like a motivational speaker. Does that make sense? Is that right? He's more of like a motivational, inspirational speaker, which resonated a lot with me because the things that I did see and what I liked was that he would tell a story, or I know he still does this, but he tells a story, like a modern story, and then he related it to a Bible story. And I loved that. I was like, oh, okay, this is a great way for me to learn the stories of the Bible and understand them and how they relate to us, like how we can relate to these stories from the Bible. So yeah, so my search is on to see where I belong and where I can get the most information, because I do love the joyful aspect of certain churches, and that seems to be like the evangelical, the non-denominational types of churches where all the singing. I love the singing. The singing is everything to me. I'm a little stressed out, a little nervous about going to a church where they have all this spiritual uplifting, powerful, emotional music because, as you saw at the very beginning of the show, right off the bat, I start crying. I know that's what's going to happen. There's no question about it. I will be bawling. I will need like an entire box of Kleenex. Again, I don't know why it hits me so deeply, particularly when I don't really even understand a great deal of it. But here's what I understand. Can we just talk about can we talk for a minute about what I actually do know? Here's what I do know very deeply in my heart. I know, here we go again. I know that Jesus loves me. I know that I love Jesus. I know that I have profound faith. And I go back to what I said in the beginning. My degree of gratitude is what overwhelms me so much of the time because I can't believe, I don't understand why I am as lucky as I am. I don't understand why I have been so blessed to have, wonderful, healthy children and beautiful, healthy, amazing grandchildren and a husband who just said to me last night, don't put me on a pedestal because I was telling him how great he is. And he said, oh, don't put me on a pedestal. That's too much pressure. And I said, honey, we have been together for 15 years and you only go higher in my esteem as every year goes on. And I mean that sincerely. That is a fact. So he's not on a pedestal. He's just it's just admiring who he actually is. And if I may talk about him for one more moment, this, so we have wonderful conversations. Our whole relationship with, this is one of our favorite things to have our date night. We try and make a night every single week for us to just decompress from the week and to reconnect, because life is busy, preaching to the choir. Life is busy. So we're all caught up with our work and our projects and our thoughts and our things. And so you really, if you're in a relationship, if you're a couple, you really need to do that. And I can't stress that enough. If you don't mind my giving you a little relationship advice, make the time, man, make the time because that time is so precious and so special. And we both, 15 years we've been doing this and we both get so happy and excited for our date night. I call it date night just for the sake of calling it something, but it's just a regular thing for us. And, we sit and we talk about anything and everything. Doesn't even matter. It could be serious. It could be silly, deep, profound, stupid. It doesn't even matter. It's just us, sharing thoughts with each other. And it's so lovely. And, even as much as I trust him with my thoughts and feelings and stuff, it's still such a challenge for me to talk about this that I'm talking about right now with you and making myself making myself be less afraid or uncomfortable sharing my faith. So I have been, telling him, and he's known for a while, I've been listening to Christian music now for, well over a year. And it's mostly all that I listen to for music. And because it brings me joy. It makes my heart so light and happy. So that's what I listen to because it seems pretty logical to me, right? Like, why would I want to listen to things that make me feel sad and unhappy? Of course, I'm going to listen to things that bring joy, right? So he's known that, and he's given me some gentle teasing about it, not serious teasing or making fun, not making fun, gentle teasing, and we laugh, and it's really honestly, it's totally fine. And I've been sharing with him little bits about how this is coming to me, this overwhelming need and desire to explore my faith and learn more about it and understand it and understand the Bible and how to use the Bible in my own life, or the lessons from the Bible in life. And so we talked about it last night, and I said, I know this isn't really like your thing right now, and he's kind of neutral, I would say. He's kind of neutral on the whole religion, God, all of that stuff. He's kind of neutral, very receptive though. And so I said, I really, I really want to go see that movie that has just come out, the Jesus Revolution movie. I said, I really, really want to go see it. Will you see it with me, or would you rather I just go by myself and see it? Which is fine. I'm not going to force somebody to go see something that doesn't speak to them, especially my favorite person. I'm not going to force him to do something he doesn't want to do. So he right away said, no, absolutely, we can go see that. Just we'll pick a day this weekend, before it's out of the theaters. We'll go see it. And to that, I just want to say it again, just how lucky, how fortunate am I to have someone who is so receptive to something that is so out of the ordinary for us and for our life and for how we've always, done things and lived our life. Our life has been lived without a focus on God and faith and religion and all of those things. It's has been mostly absent as far as having any, real conversations about it. We've had some, but for him to just say, okay, so this is the journey you're on right now. Okay, I'm on board for that. Sure. I don't know if I necessarily agree. I don't know if I'm on the same track with you on that, but I'm open to it. But sure, why not? So that alone, I mean, what a blessing. What a gift. Boy, oh boy, I do feel a little bit guilty here that I'm sitting here talking about how lucky I am, how fortunate I am, how blessed I am. And there may be people watching right now who are not feeling that same energy for themselves and for their lives. And I'm sorry if the things that I'm saying sound like a bragging, because that's the last thing I would want to do. I just, yeah, I'm kind of like in that, but I get it now. I get why people who are deeply religious, I get why they feel this need to tell everyone. Like I just want to stop people on the street. I'm not doing it, don't worry. But I do. I want to stop people on the street and say, do you know the way to find joy? Do you know the way to find peace? Well, I do. I do. And I can share it with you. And it's so easy. It's so easy to do. Eh, don't worry. I'm not accosting people in the grocery store, in the streets, or anything like that. I would like to just pause this whole conversation for one moment and just talk about the fact that, wow, I mean, I was on vacation for 2 weeks, and my hair just grew grew so long, right? I know you're all sitting there going, wow. How about that? Yeah, no, I love this. I love this. You're going to be seeing this for a little while. I'm pretty sure this is going to stay for a bit because I'm digging it. So whatever. But I just had to acknowledge it because you probably, if you do watch the show, if you're somebody who's watched my show previously, religiously, kidding, you know that this hair, is so much more than it was before. I just made a rhyme. How about me? Oh, listen, this was maybe an unusual episode, huh? Probably was, but that's okay, right? We're just talking about stuff and things that are meaningful. And as I love to say all the time, it's my show. I could talk about whatever I want to talk about. And what I wanted to talk about today um, was my faith. My faith is a beautiful thing. And if you are somebody watching this show, because I always feel like, or I guess I always hope that there's this one person. I mean, it'd be great if there's more, of course, but I'm saying at least one person who is feeling some kind of way and watches the show and they get something from it that betters their life, that brings them something good, positive. So that would be my hope for today's show. And again, it's one of those things that I'm just leaning into my faith here that there is a reason why I needed to, or that I felt compelled to sit down here and have this conversation and say the things that I said, because there's a lot of times when I go back into the editing and my first instinct is to cut out so many of the things that I say, because there's a large part of it that goes, that was dumb. You sounded stupid. Oh, that was ridiculous. People are going to like laugh at you for saying that or making that mistake or misspeaking or any of the things. And I will say that like 90% of the time I end up forcing myself to just leave it. I'll cut out things like you'll see jumps sometimes, because like I'll forget to turn my phone off. Ring, I have to cut that out, amateur hour over here all the time, folks. The only time it's not amateur hour with me is when Juan is taking care of business over here. When I'm on my own in the studio, just doing the stuff and things, it's going to be a shit show. Sometimes parts and stuff. Juan probably watches this and shakes his head like, why does she do this? That's okay. That's okay. I think that's it. I think that's it for today. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to wrap up a show in a nice way. I just wrap it up in a nice, pretty package. Today's not that day. Today's not that day. So what is going to happen here? I am going to just kind of reiterate some of the things that I said because I feel like they're important. And that would be that if you are struggling, if life is just really kicking your ass right now, try Jesus. Speaking of, I'm going to share something with you. Coming right up, I'm going to end the show with this because this also spoke to me so much. How much time do I have here? Okay, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you something really quick. There's a little something that happened last week, and my temper, which is it doesn't flare often, but when it does, it's not pretty. It's about as ugly as my ugly crying and my ugly laughing. My temper was really up there, and at the same time, I'm going through this whole spiritual journey, this faith journey. And so I'm sitting here and one the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, and the devil's like, fight him, start throwing hands, throw some hands, girl. And the other side is like, no. Jesus, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus want you to do here? And I was struggling quite a bit, and I literally did say, please give me the answer. Like, how do I handle this situation in a way that would make you proud? And then I remembered this song that I heard, and this is the song.
Cry Jesus, not me, 'cause I throw hands. Try Jesus, please don't try me, because I fight. I know what he said about getting slapped, but if you touch me or mine, we gon' have to scrap. So try Jesus, please don't try me, because I fight. I have no problem laying these hands. Try Jesus, don't don't try me.
I mean, come on. Is that not perfect? I mean, tell me you haven't felt like this many, many a times, right? So put that song in your head every time someone, pushes you a little bit. Maybe you can just tell them that. Try Jesus, not me, because I throw hands. God, I love that so much. Yeah. So anyhow, I love you guys. Thanks for, kind of being on this journey with me because it's a rambling rocky road. But I'm enjoying it, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. And say nice things about my fake hair, please, in the comments. Could you do that for me? If you're listening to the show, you have no idea what I'm talking about, so go watch it too. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye. Hey, family, if you're looking for the perfect gift for the reader in your life, why not check out one of my books? They're all available on Amazon and most major online book retailers, as well as elsacurrent.com.